Just wanted to give you a brief rundown on how you might re-sign a jar file. I'm going to try and run this Drystone benchmark over here. So what we'll do is we'll click on Drystone benchmark. We'll keep the file. We'll take a look at the file. And there it is. Let's double click on it. He's giving me the standard, oh, I don't know this developer issue. And now we'll go in and we'll just go to security and privacy, and we'll click on open anyway. And we hit open. Now, let's have a look and see what WebStart does. And this is interesting because WebStart is kind of noisy and gives us all kinds of interesting stuff to look at. Don't quite know what it all means, but if we go in and we take a look, we can see, yes, indeed, it ran anyway. So that's fine. Now, let's assume we are interested in benchmarking this dhry.main jar. Let's take a look at re-signing it. ls dhry star.jar. I don't think there's too many of them. There they are. Resign file dhry jar. And let's see what happens here. Okay, so now we've got a problem with permissions. So apparently we need to be super user to do this. And now we find, aha, sudo does not have our path. Oh, this is a nuisance, isn't it? So if we say su dash, now we need the password. I don't happen to know it offhand, so we'll just hit enter and mess around with that a little bit. So the super user needs to have resign file in the path, or we have to give it a fully qualified path name, which means we now have to go and say something on the order of blah 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 dhry jar, and now maybe we can run it. Now what it's doing is it's unjarring it, removing the manifest, reinserting the manifest, and looks like he proceeded to do the resign. You could run a jar verify here. If you could find it. I don't happen to recall the name of the jar verification. But having said that, let's just take a look and see what happens when we run. Keep, open, OK, preferences, security and privacy, open anyway, open. Now we've got a new jar file. It's been resigned. Got to re-download it. It says the application's digital signature has been verified. Do you want to run the application? It will be granted unrestricted access to the computer. So we got a warning here, and always trust content from this developer. So that's all right, I guess. So let's hit run. Oh, validated from trusted source. Let's look at more information. So we've re-signed the jar file. Certificates have changed. Security has been identified as requiring approval. More information. Let's see. The digital signature was generated with a trusted certificate. Certificate details. This is not self-signed. And what do we get? Doc Java Incorporated. So basically what this says is, do not run this unless you want to trust Doc Java Incorporated. If we always trust the content from this publisher, then this particular app store will always be trusted, and we should be able to run it without issue. So let's try and run. Now it says application is missing the permission attributes. Applications without this attribute should not be trusted. Now, before it was fine. Before it was fine, but now it's not fine. For more information, you can visit Manifest Attributes and Preventing the Repurposing of Application. Well, that's interesting. So now this is new information. We didn't have this before, right? It's missing permission attributes. So let's look at what happened here. Manifest file, jar file manifest attributes. It's missing an attribute. What attribute are we missing? Permission attributes. All permissions. So we want all permissions. This is missing the permissions attribute, and it wasn't before. Okay. Let's have a look and see what happened here. So we had well, now it says permissions, all permissions. I mean, it says that right here. See? See? It says all permissions. So he says he's missing the permissions attribute, but that is not true. It has the permissions attribute. But then he says, was it the manifest that's missing it, or was it the JNLP file that was missing it? Ah, this is interesting. JNLP. The application is missing the permissions attribute. Where is it missing from? Well, clearly not from the JNLP because we saw it there. So application is missing the permissions attribute. Let's remember this option for now and hit yes. And it ran. But the missing permissions attribute, now that's interesting because we see all permissions. And when we go in here, what's he telling us? Code base attribute is used to restrict the code base to the thing, and he says application name, application allowable code base, entry attribute, trusted attribute. This takes a lot of reading. Application is missing permissions attribute. Missing required permissions manifest. This is now in the manifest, not in the JNLP. Those are different. Cookie policy. I don't see anything in here about permissions attribute. Let's put it in quotes just to make sure that that is missing permissions attribute in main jar, but it exists in the jar. So it's missing in the manifest. So the manifest file should include something that says all permissions. So when we re-sign a jar, we have to include this in the manifest file. That's interesting. Let's take a look at the manifest file. So what we're going to do here is we're going to copy here. Go into the temp directory. Probably should have made a file for that one, huh? Oops. Meta-inf. So that's the manifest directory. Here's the manifest. Now, are we supposed to have permissions in here? I don't see anything with permissions. So let's have a look at the there must be something in the manifest that we're missing. I'm not quite sure I understand what that could be. Let's have a look. Web start. Here is the old version, which I think is going to run without issue. I re-signed the jar file and I get myself problems. But when I run the old Drystone benchmark, what do I get? Guess we can show details, huh? Slow. There it goes, and it runs. And no error about not having permissions. No error about not having permissions. So then what's the difference between that and what we had before? So this was called math.benchmarks.dry. Let's take a look at that. Math.benchmarks.dry. ls math.benchmarks.dry. THRY. So here is the file. I don't know if I can open this in Emacs without running out of memory. I'm doing this on my web server. This is probably a bad idea. Let's quit out of this. You can't. Oh, you can. Good. Good, good, good. All right, so let's take this, copy it over to this temp directory. Oh, that took a while. Cd over to temp. And now, make a directory called foo, mv. Let's see. Where was it copied? Move to foo. Permission denied. Really? It's in the temp directory. And I'm in the temp directory. Permission denied. Maybe this is more about foo than anything else. Permission denied. Okay, let's be super user. That works. And now it's gone. Whoa! What just happened? It disappeared. Bizarre. That's just weird, man. How did that happen? Maybe we're out of space? Let's delete some stuff. Oh boy, this is annoying. Well, apparently deleting things doesn't work very easily either. So I had to write a script to delete the files. And everything else worked. All right, what happened with foo? So foo is owned by Ubuntu. I have all access rights. It's owned by me. I think I can delete it. Yes, I can. Bizarre. Bizarre. Okay, back to the original question, which was I need a way to get here quickly. This is just much too hard. Copy. We'll make an alias. So what this will do is it'll change directories to this complicated looking thing and then proceed to list the files. Permission denied. Didn't do a CD? Oh, maybe I didn't. Oh, that works. So now you can always get back to where you were. Still trying to debug the issue with the manifest. Go. Now let's make sure we have enough space here. Oh, we seem to. We seem to. Now let's make a directory. Let's move the try into foo. That worked. Go into foo. There it is. Now we should be able to unjar. And it's all in the foo directory, so that's all right, because we can delete the foo directory with relative ease. And this is huge. Wow. Why is this so big? Something's wrong. This is supposed to be a simple benchmark. Holy mackerel. And now, in principle, we should have a manifest perhaps it's in the meta-inf. Permissions, all permissions. Yes, indeed, we are missing the permissions : all permissions section in the manifest signing. And that is the reason why it's giving you a hard time. So now we know what we need to do to fix things, and now it's a matter of changing the way the resign works so that it will fix things in the future. So that's that. Proof positive that we did something incorrect here. Permissions, all permissions has to be done with the resign feature. Well, let's do some more research into that and we'll figure it out. Thanks a bunch. Boy.